Welcome everybody. In today's video, we are going to be flying out the J-7D in China. Now this plane is a premium for rank 7 and it is at battle rating 10.7. So, this plane is probably your go-to option if you want to grind out to China and try to get the J-11B, which is newly added, or the J-10A. The other option would be the A5C, which is also a rank 7 premium. The only problem is the A5C is just worse than the J-7D in every other way. It has a worse flight model, it has a lot less countermeasures, less missiles, and also worse rewards for SL and RP. Anyways, how do you fly a plane like this? Because this plane is a delta wing, it loses a lot of speed, but it also has an amazing kit. It has essentially 4 of some of the best missiles at 10.7, and also you have the MiG-21 MF flight model. Well, the number one answer is use altitude like I am in the background footage right here. Go over the enemies, sneak up on them, and take them out. It's very easy to get kills from top-down aspect because your missiles are very great, which is one thing I'll be talking about right now. You have the options of carrying the PL-7 or the PL-5B. Now, the PL-7 is basically just a magic one. It does not have the most range, but it pulls very hard and is very flare resistant at closer ranges. The thing is, it is a little bit of a struggle bus when it comes to long-range shots. That is why I take the PL-5B over the magic one for the most part. I usually take 3 PL-5Bs and 1 magic one, as I do find the magic one to be very good in a dogfight scenario. Now, the PL-5B is also an amazing missile. It has a lot of range, it doesn't have the best flare resistancy, but it has super fast acceleration. Only problem I'd say with the missile is it does struggle to pull off the rail instantly, as there is a little bit of a dead time in between the missile where it flies straight after it comes off the rail for the first, I guess, half second or maybe a little bit less. Still though, a very good missile, very good range, and as long as your opponents don't see it, it is a very deadly. So, this plane is very strong. As I said, it is a MiG-21 MF flight model, but you gave it better missiles essentially. So, you have the delta wing, which means you bleed a lot of speed and also pull a lot of AOA. Luckily though, you have a very strong engine that does make up for a lot of your speed loss, where you can retain energy, get the energy back a lot easier. So, how do you want to fly this thing in your average ARB game? Well, my main tips are going to be, don't be over aggressive, which is something I see a lot in MiG-21 players. You rush in, you turn for the first person you see, and you try to dogfight them. Now obviously this is logically not very smart, as if you try to 1v1 someone in the beginning of the game, you're going to get third party or team killed. And this MiG-21 is very easy to get slow in, as you're out of delta wing. A lot of times I will see MiG-21s in the middle of the map going like 10 kilometers an hour and instantly get shot down by whoever's in the area. This game is going to be a very good example of how you do play passive-aggressive in a MiG-21 or a delta wing in general, because, once again, speed is everything. You get too aggressive, you get too slow, you'll put yourself out of position and in position to get targeted or killed, because when you do get targeted, it is a lot of the times a huge waste of time for you and can also get you either 1, out of position, or 2, just killed. So, in this clip right here, or this game on Sinai, we're going to get a good amount of kills, but also we're not going to play too aggressive. We're going to be very smart on our target prioritization and positioning, and make sure we're not going for targets who are going to get us killed. So Jaguar in front of us right now, he has gone relatively slow, and we're going to try to get a gunshot on him. Unfortunately, he kills my teammate, and we miss a relatively easy shot. If I committed to that, I would hit the ground, but I definitely should hit it anyways. Now, instead of going for the Jaguar, we're going to turn up for the F5. I don't hit him, which is going to be a very difficult shot. But the thing is, if I turned for the Jaguar right there, I 100% would have gotten the F5 on my 6, and also would have been slow because I had to do a 180 for him. So in turn, I'm actually going to go for the F5, put myself behind him, and cover my teammate, who is now having the F5 on a 6 because he did 180 for the Jaguar. Now luckily for us, the F5 is not paying attention, we just gotta reel him in. With the PL5s, you can shoot around 2.5 kilometers, he gets closer, and we're gonna fire the missile off, and because he's so busy with my teammate, he's gonna eat the missile right up his tailpipe. So that is a good example of target prioritization and positioning. Know who to go for, do not just commit for the first person you see, as it is very easy to get caught off guard in the MiG-21. In your average ARB scenario, planes like MiG-21s or delta wings in general that bleed a lot of speed do take a little bit of know-how how to fly in a chaotic situation. It's important to not get yourself too slow. Obviously, the gameplay in the back is a bit passive. I'm not really, full sending it yet, but at this point, it's already mid-game, and I can be a little bit more aggressive and afford to, lose some speed. Flying into the center of the map, we see a teammate getting chased by an A-10, and there's not too much to say about this. The A-10 has no clue what's going on, and he's gonna get clapped by my PL-5. Alright, now I just want to talk about this BR in general, and I'm mostly talking about 10.0 to 11.7, maybe 11.3. This BR I feel like is just full of people who have no clue what they're doing. Now I feel like a lot of the times my kills are not because I'm outsmarting the enemy, not because I'm positioned very well, just because the enemies are incompetent, not paying attention. So many times at this battle rating you find players who are just flying into the middle of the map, trying to dogfight the first person they see, 180ing the first person they see, or just not flaring. A lot of these planes have flares, but they just don't seem to want to use them. And yes, a good amount of players are still flaring, but at the end of the day, I feel like this BR, it's not necessarily how you fly the plane, like the MiG-21 or the J-7D you guys see. It's simply on how you fly a plane. Now, Devin has talked about this before. Flying ARB a lot of the times is just your own experience, not simply your experience in X, Y, and Z plane. So right here we have a Buccaneer going for a base. Not too much to say about this. This is the Buccaneer S2, so he actually has flares, and he's going to be, situationally aware, which is good for him. But at the end of the day, he has 2 enemies on his 6, and he's about to eat some massive rounds in his forehead. Now we're going to shoot the missile at him. He flares it instantly. And once again, the missile's flare resistancy is not that great at range. Albeit it's pretty good at closer ranges, but once again, when you go at further range, you will see a detriment. Alright, we're going to go for guns in the Buccaneer, and we managed to miss several very easy shots, but luckily for us, we do take him out, and he goes right back to the hangar, and that is going to be kill number 4. Alright, next clip is going to be a dogfight versus an F5. Now this F5 is going to be on my 6, so I'm going to decide to reverse him. I'm going to cut some throttle and go into the merge. I am already going really slow, so I'm not going to slow down too much, no air braking, and he's going to overshoot pretty easily. Right here, I actually almost get killed right there. I feel like I should have died right there, but luckily for us, he misses, and he's going to go straight up, which is a terrible idea. The F5 is going to be a plane you run into a lot in War Thunder. This guy is not doing the right thing. He went really slow, and now he's trying to go vertical into a slow dogfight with the MiG-21. That is not going to end well. We hit him, and he's not dead yet, but this is what I mean by the PL7. It is very strong at close ranges and very flare resistant at close ranges. Shoot the missile off, it pulls basically instantly, and although he flares, he still gets hit out of the air. This plane is very lethal in a low speed dogfight. The F5, not so much. The F5 is very good at high-speed dogfighting and retention, but once you bring that plane to low speeds, you are not winning a dogfight against most planes. The MiG-21 is definitely not an exception. This plane is very good at low-speed dogfighting, and F5 players do not get slow, do not go ball to the walls with the MiG-21. You gotta play energy, or you're gonna end up like that. Alright, next game is going to be a 6-kill game. It is going to be pretty similar to the other games. We killed an Su-17 M2 that has no flares. A very sad plane. Should not be 10.0, but also put it any higher, it's going to struggle for sure. Alright, we're going to go into the middle of the map, try to make sure we keep our situation awareness up. We did have quite a bit of altitude, which we kind of lost, but we are going to target this Su-25, who is going towards our side of the map. Now, we're actually going to turn back in because it seems like he just wants to head on me. I know I'm not going to get that shot, which is why I'm just not going to send it. I want to keep my position, keep my speed and altitude, and actually do something. After all, a frogfoot is not really a target that's going to be that detrimental to my team if I let him live. We are going to fly towards the center of the map. We see some more enemies. An A-10, we're going to prime the missile. We're going to fire it. We're also going to fire another missile at another S-25 below us. Now, the A-10 actually flares the missile, but the S-25, he's about to eat that. Now we're in a pretty bad position right now, and this is what I mean. The MiG-21, if you get pressured, it can be very dangerous because you lose a lot of speed. AV behind us, we're going to run and get some distance. He's actually decently close, but luckily for us, his guns are hard to aim, and we are much faster at high-speed acceleration. T2 also behind us, but I'm positive he won't be able to catch me. After all, T2, not very dangerous unless you get past the merge. Still though, it's a very easy plane to kill in the MiG-21, and also it has no flares. That's what I'm talking about. I would not want to dogfight those two people, not because I don't think I can beat them, simply because it is still early game. If I do that, I'm going to get myself killed. This is why I point to the MiG-21 being a little bit difficult to fly in your average ARB scenario. Do not kill yourself by going slow for people who are just on your 6. Yes, you can 1v1 them and win, but are you going to get third party? Are you going to get team killed? Take those things into mind. Now, F5 on our teammate, unfortunately, he kills him, but luckily for us, we actually hit a shot with this gun once and for all, and we sent him back to the hangar. This gun is not very easy to aim. The GSH-23, I believe, is a water pistol. Does a lot of damage though, but you gotta hit your shots, and doesn't have a lot of ammo, but it does have a very fast fire rate, so overall, pretty hard gun to use. Now the F5 behind us is going to keep pressuring us, but I'm not going to dogfit him just yet. There's an SC-25 as well below us, so I'm going to make sure that I keep an eye on them and don't get jumped. I'm going to keep my energy, get some altitude because I want to get some more position on the pack below us. Right now the game is in the mid stages, which is for this BR more or so like kind of like a hunt where I try to get players out. A10 below us, not a very priority target, but we're going to try to kill him as well. He's going very slow, very easy shot, and what do? We miss. I used up all my luck on the F5 kill, which wasn't even that hard by the way, but I missed the shot and it ends up being not my kill. Luckily though, it's an A10, not too much of a detriment, and the F5 in front of us hangs himself and gets hit by us as well. Now, this time we actually hit our shot, so he is going to be eating poop and dying, but then another F5 shows up on my 6. Right now, I'm not so sure about reversing him. I want to make sure I do keep my energy a little bit. I'm going to bait him for my teammates to see if they can take him out as well. Now, I'm going to get into a climb. I'm going to try to keep my energy because I do notice that he is not really catching me, and then he breaks off instantly. I was thinking about 1v1ing this guy, but at the end of the day, my teammates are everywhere, so most likely what's going to happen is he's just going to get clapped. I did get quite a lot of 1v1s in this plane, but the thing was most of them were just the exact same as the one I showed you guys with the F5. Someone gets on my 6, I reverse them, and because they don't know what they're doing against the MiG-21, they try to go low speed energy fighting, and they just get clapped because the MiG-21 is king of low speed. The strong engine is very good for this plane, and very good for getting people killed when it comes down to low speed one circle fighting especially. F5 is going to get destroyed by my teammate, and we are going to go back to the base, refuel, and go back for the last 3 enemies. Alright, now we've taken back off, and I realized that the last 3 people are all strike fighters. There is an 88, there is an A10, and also an SC-25. Now, once again, I'm using altitude to my advantage. You don't always want to be doing this because in up tiers, especially 11.7 games, you will face stuff like MLs, which have R24Rs, and even in 11.3 games, you have the Viggen with the AIM-72s and the Pulse-Doppler radar, and also the, you know, F4Es or like the Karnasses. Luckily though, the first SC-25 is not paying attention at all and gets clapped out of the air. We're gonna go back up and try to take out the rest of them. My teammate is also coming in, and I got these 2 guys focused on me. I'm just gonna keep my energy and go straight up. 88 is trying to pitch out for me. That is not gonna end well. He's stalled out basically, and my teammate is going right for him. He's about to get clapped by a missile right here, and that is basically gonna be dealed. Now this game is basically over. The SC-25 beneath me is not going to do well with the J-7 on a 6. I'm coming down as well. It's basically game over. I'm going to try to prime a missile. We somehow lock him through the clouds. We're going to shoot the missile off. It tracks through the clouds, and he gets hit. Severe damage. That is game over. Alright, that basically wraps up the video. I'm sorry I didn't get too many games where I got to carry, and when it did, it just ended up in an anticlimactic game. Luckily though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, learned something about the MiG-21. It is a very good fighter in a 1v1. You have a very good engine, very good turn rate, and you're very good at low speed one circle fights. Only problem is that in your average ARB game, you just gotta make sure you're flying it correctly. You gotta make sure that you are retaining your energy when it comes to early game and mid game scenarios, and just not being too aggressive. Overall though, I think this plane is very fun to fly. This game is going to basically be wraps right now. The last 2 guys, well, the A10 J's out on the runway, and Knowing ends up getting the kill. So that's going to be 6 kills, and this also wraps up the video. Here are the rewards if you want to see them. Just keep in mind I don't have premium, so it's not an accurate reflection.